Hi, this is Mina, Nicole, owner of Elegant Occasions Event Center and founder of Ground Zero Business Group. Thank you for joining me for another Talk It Out Tuesday. On this Tuesday, I'm excited because I have my Sora, Kim Mays, agency owner of State Farm. So we're going to talk about Insurance 101, your basics about insurance. Why do you need business insurance, life insurance? Of course, aside from auto insurance and home insurance, there's a whole nother entity to insurance that we're going to talk about today. So please stay tuned. Thank you all that tuned in last week when we had the DJ Roundtable with DJ Red and DJ Rockwell. So please check it out on YouTube, Facebook, on Elegant Occasions Event Center, on YouTube, on Ground Zero Biz, B-I-Z. If you had not checked it out already, please like it and share it. And we are going to get started with Miss Kim Mays. Kim, can you introduce yourself and tell us about how you got started and what inspired you to become a State Farm agency owner?
Sure. Thank you, Mina, so much for allowing me to do this. I really appreciate it. My name is Kim Mays, and I am the agency owner of Kim Mays State Farm Agency. We are located in Stockbridge, Georgia. I opened my insurance agency in September of 2019. So I am a very new insurance agency owner and am very excited about the opportunity. What made me open a State Farm insurance agent? My background is actually in real estate, or I have a degree in architectural engineering. Then I did real estate, and a friend of mine approached me and said, you should open an insurance agency. And honestly, I had no idea that I could actually own my own insurance office. So I've always had a passion to have my own business. Was searching for that through real estate. I did have Kim Mays Realty, but State Farm and insurance just seemed to be a good fit for me. It was right in line with real estate, but it was structured. And I knew exactly what I would need to be doing on a daily basis. So I just know I'm that type of person. I need structure. I do well with structure. But even on top of that, I realized that I didn't know a lot about insurance, right? I have it. I know I have to have it, but I didn't really understand how it worked. And this was a great opportunity for me to help other people who may not know about insurance or they just had questions. And so here I am today. I did look at a couple of different insurance agencies, but it's something about that red and white that just was speaking to me.
That is so awesome, and I'm so proud of you to know that you basically started out doing real estate and you just took the leap into insurance, and here you are today, just opening your own State Farm agency from September 2019 to now. And as a member of Delta Sigma Theta, I am so proud of you. Delta's in the house.
That's right.
And not only that, but just as a young Black African-American female, to know that there is a State Farm agencies that's owned by other African-Americans. I think that is so powerful from my standpoint. And just to kind of hear your story and the fact that you wasn't scared to step out and you tried it, and it seems to me that everything is working out okay for you.
Yeah, and I'm very grateful to State Farm for giving me this opportunity. Again, you are absolutely correct. There are not a lot of African-American females that are actually agency owners of a State Farm insurance agency. In fact, I am one of 3 that are in the Henry County area of Georgia. So between Henry County, we may have about 30 or so agents, but there are 3 of us that are African-American females. So
wow, that is awesome, and kudos to the other 2 African-American females out there that own State Farm agencies. So Kim, with everything that's been going on now with COVID-19, as I mentioned in other series, my business, Elegant Occasions Event Center, has basically been shut down due to COVID-19. And the other business owners that I've been talking to throughout the weeks, they've had some type of impact on their business due to COVID-19. So how has COVID-19 impacted your business?
Um, so the impact it has had on my business, one, we are now working remotely. So that's kind of different from State Farm. You know, State Farm is like a good neighbor. We're on every corner. You can find us. So we're used to having that storefront and that interface with our customers. But now some offices, most of us, our storefronts are closed right now. And so we are working remotely. Which grateful for that is that we do have the technology that we can still work remotely. Our phones ring, you know, they call our regular number. No one can really tell that we're all in our houses, so that's great. But that interface, that one-on-one with our customers, that hug, that smile, that is definitely different for us. And you know, we're working on how do we connect with our customers virtually, and still have that face-to-face and one-on-one interaction with them. It hasn't really slowed down. Business has not really slowed down. That's a great thing. But this is giving us a time to really reach out to our policyholders, check on them, see if they have any questions, and work on, you know, just explaining the insurance coverages that they have. So luckily, except for the fact that the storefront is closed, other than that, we are still business as usual.
That is awesome. And that was leading into my next question about what have you been doing to improve upon your business? I know for me personally, I have really enjoyed getting to know social media. I've been doing a lot of research, a lot of exploring, getting a lot of really good advice on how to better increase my social media traffic, because that was an area that I've been struggling in, because I just didn't have the time. And also it's given me the opportunity to do this, interview different business owners, get some great insight, and make some great connections. And what are some of the things that you've learned basically during this time? I know you just said that things haven't really slowed down, but it's been a shift, I would think, in most businesses. Have you noticed a shift? And if so, what exactly might be a little different, or what will you be doing differently going forward?
So from a marketing perspective, we do a lot of events, going out, talking to people, introducing ourselves, speaking engagements. Well, that's not happening right now. And so we're having to change what that platform looks like for us. And so things like this is a way for us to connect with the community, and get ourselves out there and interact, let people know that we're here. But social media is a huge thing for us. State Farm already, we were on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and now they have recently opened up Instagram for us to do social media marketing. So just having that digital presence is very important. Your Google search, your Google reviews, making sure, you know, are you doing banner ads and things like that. Just even connecting with people in various groups and participating in virtual meetings and virtual networking opportunities. So all of that, just changing the way that we do business from that perspective, our marketing. And I'm sorry, you were asking me what else was different for us. I was trying to think about, I don't know what my thought process was. I'm sorry, I mean, I lost what I was gonna say, but it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me, I know.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and dive into Insurance 101.
Okay.
So a lot of people know about insurance is, of course, your auto insurance, your home insurance, and people know a little bit about life insurance, but all these areas are very important. One of the things that I learned coming into business was the importance of business insurance. And that has definitely kept me covered during these 5 years in business. But we'll go ahead and dive in. So you're the expert in regard to the insurance, but starting with business insurance, I know there's a lot of different types of insurance, but we'll go ahead and start off with the business insurance.
Yeah.
I know personally when I first started Elegant Occasions Event Center, it was hard for me to find a company that would insure a event venue, which I was kind of surprised about. But nevertheless, I knew going in, outside of needing an accountant, outside of needing a lawyer, I know I had to have insurance. And this is something that the leasing company where I lease my building at, they ask for every year. So they ask for proof of insurance every year. They want to make sure that they're listed on the policy. In the event that something happens, thankfully we haven't had any major issues or any major issues with clients, maybe falling or any liability issues. But why is business insurance really important to anybody in business?
Right. Anybody in business, again, insurance is all about just managing your risk, right? So a lot of us, we're dreamers. We want to start our own businesses. We've saved money for this business, this opportunity, this moment. We get everything in place, but unfortunately, a lot of businesses don't think about the insurance piece. Well, the insurance piece is important because it's going to protect everything that you have put into this business should something happen. Let's say your building was to burn down, or your building was to flood, or a tornado came through. Most are not going to have the funds to be able to build that stuff back. And so in those cases, that's why it's very important to have that insurance. And most people don't even realize that the cost of it is really, really affordable. So not only business insurance from the perspective of just protecting your building, your storefront, your personal property, you're an event planner. I'm sure you have decor and things like that, computers, other equipment. That stuff needs to be protected as well. If it is stolen, things like that, your insurance policy will cover you. But most importantly is the liability piece of it. And so a lot of people don't really think about, they may be providing a service to somebody else, but depending on what that service is, it could be a very risky service where the liability is very high. So in your case, you were mentioning that you had difficulty finding a company that would insure you. That should be like a true red flag that you absolutely need to have insurance, because companies not offering you insurance because they know the liability associated behind that. And so, for example, to protect your business, just in case if somebody was to sue you for any specific reason, then that's where having that liability insurance would definitely come in place and protect you. And most business policies start with at least $1 million in liability. So if that gives you any indication how large some of the business liability cases can go, that would be a good idea. So again, I recommend it for every business owner. Even if you're a small business owner, a single, you're the only person, right? I still highly recommend business insurance. The good part about it too is that it travels with you. So there are all kinds of people who print t-shirts, right? A lot of people print t-shirts out of their house. Well, did you realize that you can still get a business policy even though you're running your business out of your house to protect, say, the equipment that's used to print the t-shirts, the material, the inventory, and all that other stuff? Because the reality is if your house was to burn down, your homeowner's insurance is not going to cover all of those items. And so you do need that separate business policy to cover that. Not only that, is if you were to do, I like to use the example of vendor show or something like that, And let's just say you were making t-shirts on site and somebody's kid just happened to burn their hand on your t-shirt iron or something like that. That might be a reason for them to want to sue you, and your insurance policy would be, something there that would protect you. So it goes with you.
And
It's
that's
another
a very good point too, because just thinking about the vendors that I have in my venue, whether they're doing like a simple candy table, if they're doing balloons, if they're coming to set up a backdrop, what if that backdrop falls on someone?
falls on somebody.
Falls
The
on someone.
candy, if somebody eats it and chokes on it or something. I mean, I hate to use such drastic examples, but I do that to make a point because it happens, right? There's something in the candy that causes an allergic reaction. It happens. And so those are things that we need to be, mindful of and to protect ourselves. And business insurance is there for you for that reason.
And it's good to know that it will travel with you. So if I'm at like a bridal expo show or something like that, and something happens, God forbid something happens, at least I know that I'll be covered on that extent too. Sometimes I do off-site events, event planning, weddings and stuff like that. So it's good to know that I'm still covered in regards to having insurance, being that I'm not physically in my building, that insurance still goes with me as well too. And I think your information about having a home business and having a separate business insurance policy, yes. I think that'll help a lot of people out too, because there's a lot of people that have home businesses that might not think, why do I need a separate policy because I have homeowners insurance. But again, if you're staying in an apartment somewhere, you're renting, and God forbid something happens, then it's like, what are you going to do? So I think that was a great piece of information that you added about having insurance, even if you're working from home.
Yeah, anybody with a business.
And that is like so important. And I'm for sure this is going to help somebody out there, because this is stuff that people don't really think about that's in business or starting to get in business. So before you—
And imagine you starting like really small, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, I'm really, really small. Yeah, you might be really, really small, but it just takes one mishap. It takes one mishap, and that really, really small business that you had and you started turns into somebody going after your personal assets. So, and that's not what anybody wants in their dream when they started a business. So
right, at all. And then outside of that, still under the kind of the umbrella of like the event venue, we talked offline before that there's event insurance available out there. And I know that there's a lot of agencies that don't necessarily provide policies for that, but there are ways that you can get event insurance. And through my research, I've learned that that's a great tool, especially now with COVID-19. There's a lot of events that had to be either canceled or postponed. There's a lot of weddings that didn't happen. And with having event insurance, that would definitely give clients an extra layer of protection for any cancellations from vendors, for say, like if there's somebody in your party that maybe falls or something like that, that will be covered under that insurance policy. But I think the best thing and the best peace of mind is that you can still recoup some of your funds, even if you have to cancel that event, because there's a lot of people that's not giving refunds right now due to COVID-19, but at least you'll know, going forward that you will be able to recoup some of those funds.
Right. And I was going to say, Mina, I'm sorry, that was a good point that you brought up. So anybody who is seeking, and honestly, there are times where people don't even realize that they need event insurance. So I'm getting married, I'm having a wedding, I may be serving alcohol at my wedding. You need to also get a separate event policy, just a one-day policy for that specific event, because someone who was at your event could very well go get in their car, cause an accident, and hurt somebody else. And even though the person who was at your event may not come and sue you, but maybe the person they hit might find out that they were at your wedding and they were drinking, and so they may come after you from that perspective. And then as far as like the venues canceling and things like that, I would definitely say ask the insurance agent when you are acquiring that policy to make sure to see, hey, what happens if the venue cancels, or you know, if I have to cancel for some reason. I would think that if the venue canceled, that they would refund your money. You know, but I guess it's similar to kind of like travel insurance. You know, if you get illness or something like that, then you can go ahead and get your money back. So those are definitely great questions to ask when seeking that event insurance, but it does exist and it is important. You can get insurance for one day for a special event. People doing wine and cheese, networking events, anywhere where you're kind of putting yourself at risk and opening yourself to liability, I would definitely research to get some insurance for that.
And diving into life insurance. So life insurance right now, I would imagine has become a huge topic due to COVID-19. Unfortunately, there are fatalities associated with it. And a lot of times people just aren't prepared for death. It's sad to say, but people just don't prepare to die. And I know when I recently got married, I had a life insurance policy on my own. And when I got married, we had to do a new policy. So that was definitely new for me because we had to do the different medical tests and stuff to make sure that we can get insured. So what is the importance of having life insurance outside of COVID-19, but just on any given day to make sure that your family is covered in the event of an unfortunate passing?
Right. So Mina, the real is nobody thinks it's going to happen to them, right? That's real. And so talking about life insurance is a very delicate and difficult conversation to have with most people. And I'm just being honest. You know, insurance is one of those things where you don't realize you need it until it's too late. But life insurance can really protect, it's needed for a good family protection plan. You know, you have a 2-person household, one person passes away, the other person is left to have to pay the mortgage. And if the spouse that passed away was the income that actually paid for the mortgage, well, now what do? What happens? Well, what happens is your mortgage company forecloses on your home and you lose your home. And that's really real. There are what we call term life insurance products where you can get a large amount of insurance for a low amount of money for a certain amount of terms that are perfect and ideal for that type of situation. Not only just covering your mortgage, but just overall, right? I often, when I sit down with my customers and we're doing the life needs analysis, I mean, the question starts with, okay, if you were to pass away today, you know, what does that look like for your family? Now, what would you like it to look like for your family? And we kind of go through all of the expenses that the family may need, or the desires, their burial costs, their funeral costs. I often use the example, you know, if you're from New York and you live in Georgia and you pass away and your whole family is buried in the cemetery in New York, well, guess what? Your body has to get to New York, and it costs money. And so that is what life insurance can do for your family, for your loved ones. It can make sure that they are able to maintain the lifestyle that you currently had. And even more relating it back to COVID-19, it is still a difficult conversation to have with people. Most people, honestly, Mina, they don't want to talk about it. Most people, I think, fear the conversation, that if they do have that conversation, they do get that policy in place, that something is definitely going to happen to them the next day. You know, I can't predict whether it will or will not, but the important part is that if it does, and you do have that life insurance in place, you can rest easy knowing that your family has been taken care of. But even through COVID-19, it is still a challenging conversation to have. We are still writing life insurance policies though. COVID-19 is not an exclusion. So we don't know how, you know, intense the COVID-19 is or is not going to be. And hoping that that is not something that insurance companies may decide to exclude on life insurance policies. We don't know. So it is important. I talk to my customers and say some life insurance is better than zero life insurance. And there are so many different options as far as life insurance. Definitely could find something that would fit one's budget, but most importantly, to have something for your family in case that you were lost. And you're right, with this COVID-19, we don't know who it's going to affect, who it's not going to affect, who will survive and who will not survive. So I definitely think it is important for people to secure that. I tease, I make the comment all the time, you know, you're insurable till you're not. You know, so today I'm great, right? I don't have COVID-19, so I'm insurable today, right? I go out tomorrow, I get COVID-19, I am not insurable tomorrow. And that's just how quickly it can happen. So you really, really want to have that conversation. Do the life needs analysis. You really want to get something in place before you're not able to.
And it's very important too that you mentioned the later you wait, the more the insurance will be. You know, because
Yes.
of course, as you get older, there's other ailments and stuff that you might deal with that you didn't deal with at the age of 25 or 21. The insurance
Correct.
policy I had before I got married, I think I got that when I was about like 27 or something like that. So it was really, really cheap. And even now, the insurance policy I have now, it wasn't as expensive because again, I'm not in my elder years, but granted, if I wait till I'm 67 years old, that same policy might cost hundreds more, you know?
Correct.
So it's definitely something to invest in now. And I like what you said too about something is better than nothing. And a personal story for me, I had an aunt that passed away probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and she didn't have much, but she did have something to go towards her funeral expenses. And what she had was just enough to cover what she wanted for her services. And that took a lot of stress off of the family. That took a lot of stress off of me because I was the one that was overseeing basically her last wishes. But that's one thing that I personally didn't worry about. It wasn't thousands of dollars or $1 million or anything like that. It was just enough. And a lot of times we see now that a lot of young people are dying unexpectedly, and the families have to go out and try and get money for burial services. And these services aren't cheap at all. So I think something as simple as having a knowledge as to just having something out there, I think that'll, you know, give people a better peace of mind in the event something does happen.
Yeah, I mean, at least have the conversation, right? You can decide after the conversation if you think it's something that's a great fit for you. And you did bring up a great point. You know, the older you get, the more the insurance cost. And again, we have different types of products. And it is very interesting to me. You know, a lot of people have invested or purchased like term policies. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with a term policy. It definitely serves their purpose. But they purchased it, I think, with the thought that it's going to be there for them forever. So example, I tease, I have somebody who says, yeah, I've got this, you know, 20-year term policy and, you know, it's $500,000 and I pay $10 a month. I say, great. So what happens if you pass away 20 years in one day? And they're like, I don't know. I said, but let me tell you, that $500,000 you have will not be there. And then just something else to take into consideration, even if you do, and you, I would say, extend that term policy, you are now 20 years older. And so those rates are going to be significantly higher for you. And unfortunately, Mina, what happens is a lot of people have these term policies and they reach a certain age where they just can't afford it anymore at all. And they are left with no option of life insurance. And so I always like to kind of do a little bit of a mix, definitely secure what we call permanent policies, a whole life policy, definitely kind of secure that maybe with your term policy. So you at least know that you have something in place, even if it's just enough to cover your burial.
And what exactly is the difference with the term versus the whole life?
So term insurance, again, is for a certain amount of time. Now, we have 10-year, 20-year, 30-year policies. And it depends on your age on what you could qualify for. So once it passes that 10 years, the 20 years, or 30 years, that policy is, let's just say, expired, unless it just automatically renews. And at the renewal, the rate or the premium is actually going to increase. So again, those are great for, I want to have something in case I pass away, my spouse can pay off the mortgage, pay off the car loan, send the kids to college, things like that. Great reasons to buy term insurance. The other term I was using is permanent insurance. And so a lot of people are familiar with the term whole life. And that insurance is basically there for your entire life until you pass away. Now, it's more expensive because of that fact, but that policy will be there for you. So the money that you are paying, I call it the cut the check policy. It's definitely the one claim that you are going to make, and that we will be cutting that check for you and your family. So I refer to my permanent policies in that way. But another good point about permanent policies, a lot of people don't realize it, is that they gain cash value. And that cash value actually has benefits that you can use while you are living. If you need to borrow some money during COVID-19, this is a great example. You may have lost your job and you still need to pay your bills. If you have a permanent policy that has cash value in it, you can certainly go to your insurance agent and ask for a loan off of that policy. So it's another way to have access to money. So I love a great permanent policy. It serves a lot of purposes. So even those that are afraid about getting, life insurance, again, policies can actually help you while you're living too.
That is great to know, and that definitely can help someone too, because there's a benefit in having the permanent or whole life insurance, and like we said, that'll come in handy during these times where money is short. There's a lot of people that's laid off, unfortunately, and if you had access to that, that'll definitely add an extra layer of peace of mind, I think. Yes. And with all these different insurances that we've talked about, outside of course, your traditional auto insurance and home insurance, what would be a great way for business owners or just people, period, to save money when it comes to insurance?
So I'm going to say definitely have policy reviews with your insurance agent on a yearly basis. Even if your insurance agent isn't calling you, call your insurance agent. Ask them to requote your premiums. The reality is rates change. And at the time where you got your policy, rates may have been more expensive. And now, rates may be lower. Factors that go into determining your insurance rate, something like your credit may be better now. And so your insurance rate, you may be able to get a lower rate. There's different discounts that different companies have. See if you can qualify, if there's any available that you're not taking advantage of. To me, pick up the phone and ask is a great way to save money or look at saving money on your insurance. I know a lot of people but I do want to caution people, right? Maybe, it's okay to take things away from your policy, if you want to save money, but make sure you understand what it is, what you are taking away, and how that, kind of leaves you open to if something was to happen. So I found, Mina, and I'm going to talk about just auto insurance specifically, is a lot of people don't even understand what the liability numbers mean. And so, the state minimum is, people hear 25, 50, 25, that's the state minimum. And so a lot of people say, well, just give me the lowest insurance or whatever. But the reality is, if you cause a 5-car pileup, your 25, 50, 25 may not take care of everybody and everybody's injuries in that accident. And so the one thing, because there are higher limits, so I want to always stress to people, hey, there are higher limits. The way to look at it is whatever your liability limits are, that is the amount of money that your insurance company is going to pay on your behalf, okay? So anything over and beyond that, if whoever you cause the damage to wants to bring a lawsuit against you for any, monies that they feel that they're due, they have the right to do that, and they will do it. I have 2 billboards, and both of my billboards happen to be right next to accident injury attorneys. So if you don't think your insurance is important, think again. So it's very real. You need to understand how much you want your insurance company to pay on your behalf. Because if what your limits are not enough, somebody can come after you, and they will come after your paycheck. They will come after your house. They will come after all the assets. If you have a business, they will come after your business. People have been paralyzed in accidents, and you think that because you only have, $25,000 to take care of their, $100,000 injury, that they're just going to be okay with that. Just keep that in mind. So even just have that conversation with your insurance agent. The higher limits may or may not be that much more of a significant difference in price, but it will make a significant difference if, somebody was to come and sue you. So those are just, I don't want to scare anybody, but it's real. And that's what we're here for. That's what your insurance agent is here for. And again, we all know, and I realize that when people call me and they're like, I want the cheapest insurance, I understand what they're talking about. And, you don't need us until you need us. But I know when I get those phone calls and people have been in accidents, they need us. And they're very glad that we're there for them.
Awesome. And Kim, thank you so much for providing just this abundance of information to us. And what are some ways that people can get in contact with you if they have any questions or would like to inquire about the policy with State Farm?
Sure. So my office number is 770-282-6622. We are open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we're open on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So that's if you want to call the office directly. After hours, the phone goes to 1-800-STATE-FARM. They certainly can assist you there as well. But if you want to talk to us individually, you can call during office hours. I also have a website. It is www.coveredbykim.com, coveredbykim.com, coveredbykim.com. I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram, all at Covered by Kim. And I I have a Twitter account. I don't really use it, but I do. It's Maze Kim. I got to step up my Twitter game. But yeah, those are all certainly ways that anyone can reach out to me. I'm open to talking to anybody, no matter what company they're with. I've even reviewed policies for some of my friends that may be with other insurance companies and just say, hey, go back to your insurance agent and, ask these questions. These are some things I want you to kind of look at. And ultimately, I'm here to provide the information. The decision you make is up to you. I just want to make sure that we have given all the options that are available, because the reality is most people don't know. And I know in my office, I know my team, I hate when people say, or they find out something after the fact and they're like, well, nobody told me that. That is like not a good feeling at all. So we try really, really hard, anybody who will listen, to give them the information and the advice. When I was in class, there was a slogan that one of the teachers used, and it was, I want to be the best part of your worst day, right? Your house burns down, your house floods, you lose a loved one, you have just caused the worst wreck that you ever thought you could cause in your life, right? It is the worst day for you, right? You just feel like, how am I going to get out of that? Well, that's what we're here for as an insurance company, right? We want to be the best part of your worst day. We want to take that away from you. So make sure you talk to your agent. Make sure you understand your coverages, right? Because when you go out there every day, you want to know that if you don't return or anything, that you have everything in place.
Awesome. And that was well said. And Kim, thank you so much for just lending some time to educate people about State Farm and just telling us about your story as far as how you got started. I wish you the most success in this business. I know you are going to do great things. So I am just excited to see where you go from here. And to those that are tuning in, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Talk It Out Tuesday. On next Tuesday, we'll be talking about social media management and marketing with Brianna Washington with Black Market Products. And right now we're in the transition point where we're transitioning to our new normal from COVID-19. And I just want to just take some time to get individuals and businesses prepared for when life fully is open back up again. And again, they're starting with your insurance, just getting your basics together. Next, we'll be talking about social media marketing and management. And then we'll follow that up by how to be balanced and not busy, which is something that I struggle with a lot. So definitely stay tuned. We have a lot more in store for you. You can always reach us at Elegant Occasions Event Center on Facebook. You can share this post. You can send me a message. If there's something that you would like to hear us discuss, or if you would like to be a guest on the show, please reach out to me. We are also on Instagram at My Elegant Venue, and also Ground Zero Biz, that is BIZ on Instagram. So thank you all and have a great day.